The following audio logs were recovered from a water-damaged phone found beneath the floorboards of Unit 217 at the Blackwood Residences, a formerly condemned building in Chicago's North Side. The recordings belong to Marcus Thompson, whose sudden disappearance in November 2004 sparked a brief investigation that was mysteriously closed without resolution. Thompson, a scholarship student struggling to afford Chicago's skyrocketing rents, documented his experiences after securing housing that seemed too good to be true. What begins as excited relief about financial reprieve gradually transforms into something deeply disturbing. The property management company that now owns the renovated building denies any knowledge of previous tenants or structural anomalies. However, multiple contractors refuse to complete work on the building, citing ethical concerns and unexplained phenomena within the walls. City records show the Blackwood has changed ownership 17 times since 1950, with each sale following a cluster of missing persons reports in the surrounding neighborhood. The Chicago Tribune's investigation into these recordings was discontinued after their lead reporter took an unexpected leave of absence. She was last seen touring a newly renovated apartment in the building. These logs are being released against legal advice as a public warning. Audio log, the 3rd of October, 11:47 p.m. I'm Marcus Thompson, Northwestern Junior, recording this to document what might be the luckiest break of my college career. I found an absolutely incredible apartment deal earlier today, a one-bedroom downtown, walking distance to campus, all utilities included. The rent is just $200 monthly, not a typo. $200. I've been desperate since my roommate Jake dropped out and moved back to Ohio last month, leaving me scrambling to cover $1,800 rent alone. I was about to give up and move back with my parents in Evanston when I saw a handwritten flyer on the psychology department bulletin board. No online listing, no real estate company, just a phone number and an address. I met the elderly landlord, Mr. Chen, at this beautiful converted 1,922nd warehouse this afternoon. He's at least 80, speaks broken English, and barely looked at my rental application. The apartment is literally perfect high ceilings, original hardwood floors, exposed brick walls, and these gorgeous floor-to-ceiling windows that let in amazing natural light. It's way bigger than my old place and about 90% cheaper. Mr. Chen mentioned something about the thin walls and good acoustics as we toured, which seemed odd. He kept saying the building likes to be filled with young minds. I chalked it up to translation issues. He said previous tenants were all students who moved on to better opportunities. I signed the lease immediately. The only strange thing is how incredibly quiet it is here, no traffic noise despite being on the second floor above a busy street. It's like the outside world doesn't exist once you're inside. Perfect for studying with midterms approaching. I still can't believe my luck. Mom thinks it's suspicious, but she always worries. I'm just grateful to have found this place. Audio log, the 5th of October, 2:23 a.m. Something strange happened tonight. I was up late working on my cognitive psychology paper when I heard what sounded like faint whispering coming from inside the wall next to my desk, not from neighbors' apartments, but within the wall space itself. Soft murmuring, like people having a hushed conversation. I couldn't make out any words, just the cadence of speech. When I knocked on the wall, it stopped immediately. I checked the hallway, but all the neighboring apartments appear vacant. Mr. Chen mentioned the building was mostly empty due to renovations, though I haven't seen any construction workers. It's probably just me adjusting to the building's sounds, old pipes, settling foundation, that kind of thing. Chicago buildings from the 1,922nd are known for making weird noises. Still unsettling though, especially at this hour. The other strange thing I dreamed about voices telling me what to study for tomorrow's quiz. Very specific stuff about Jung's collective unconscious theory, probably just anxiety manifesting in my sleep. I've been under a lot of pressure lately. Audio log, the 9th of October, 7:15 p.m. The voices have returned, and they're much clearer now. I'm not imagining things. They come from different walls at different times, sometimes moving around as if people are walking inside the wall space. I've mapped it out. There seem to be pathways within the walls, maybe old service corridors or something from the building's warehouse days. Last night, while I was stressing about my statistics midterm, a woman's voice, soft but authoritative, like a librarian, told me to ignore question 7 completely and focus my study time on regression analysis instead. A man's voice, deeper and more casual, agreed with her. When I took the exam today, they were exactly right. Question 7 was a 2-point trick question designed to waste time, while regression analysis made up 40% of the available points. Tonight when I got home, I thanked them out loud, feeling slightly ridiculous. To my shock, they responded. They said they want me to succeed and that they like me. They know my name somehow. An older man's voice, different from the first, mentioned my Friday sociology paper topic, which I haven't told anyone about. They're helping me academically. Maybe that's why the rent is so cheap. It's some kind of weird scholarship program. I know it sounds crazy, but my grades have already improved since moving here. I should probably be more freaked out than I am, but honestly, it's nice having someone to talk to. I've been lonely since Jake left and haven't made many friends in my program. The voices are oddly comforting. Audio log, the 14th of October, 11:43 p.m. The voices have become a regular part of my daily routine now. They advise me on everything: the quickest campus routes, avoiding construction, which food in my fridge is about to expire, which electives to register for next semester. They're always accurate. This morning they warned me against going to my usual coffee shop on Clark Street, saying something unpleasant would happen there. I ignored them, thinking they were being overprotective. The place got robbed while I was in line. Nobody was hurt, but it was terrifying. The voices stayed silent for hours afterward, seemingly disappointed in my failure to heed their warning. I'm following their advice religiously now. My grades are better than they've ever been. I'm avoiding all kinds of problems before they happen. I've started giving them names based on their distinct personalities and roles. Professor, the authoritative woman; Guardian, the deep-voiced protective one; and Buddy, the casual, friendly male voice that feels closest to my age. They've told me they've watched many students come through this building over the years. They said I'm special because I actually listen to them. Most people apparently ignore them or move out when they first hear the voices. Their loss. I asked them once how they know so much about my classes and schedule. They just laughed and said, "We see everything that matters to you, Marcus. We're always watching out for you." It should sound threatening, but it doesn't. It feels like having guardian angels. Audio log, the 20th of October, 3:17 a.m. Tonight, the voices made their first request of me. Guardian's voice woke me up around 2 a.m., sounding urgent. He said a student in the building across the street was watching me through binoculars and had been photographing me while I sleep. They wanted me to go confront him immediately. Said he was in apartment 3C in the red brick building directly opposite mine. When I hesitated, Professor's voice became harsh for the first time, saying I owed them after all the help they'd given me. Buddy whispered that it would be easy, just knock on his door and tell him to stop. I went across the street in my pajamas and knocked on 3C. When I said, "The voices sent me," the guy who opened the door looked absolutely terrified. His name is Alex, and he's an engineering student at UIC. He could hear them too. They'd been ordering him to watch me for weeks, threatening his family if he didn't comply. His sister had a random car accident after he refused one of their requests. She's in physical therapy now. We compared notes and realized we were both students who had found suspiciously cheap apartments and started hearing controlling voices. They'd been manipulating us against each other the whole time. Alex showed me dozens of photos he'd taken of me sleeping, studying, eating, all on their orders. When I returned to my apartment, they praised my work but admitted they had lied. They said Alex was problematic and needed to be evaluated. They told me they require complete cooperation going forward. and mentioned how easily accidents could happen to my mother in Milwaukee, just like Alex's sister. I don't think I can leave now. They're watching everything I do. Audio log, the 27th of October, 1:45 a.m. Their demands are escalating rapidly. Alex moved away. Suddenly, 3 days ago at least, that's what Guardian told me. I think something happened to him. I'm afraid to ask. They have me carrying a knife now when I go out. They make me leave certain windows unlocked at night. They gave me a prepaid phone that they somehow text, even though I never gave them the number. The texts contain names and addresses of other Northwestern students. Yesterday, they made me leave in the middle of my developmental psychology class to approach a girl named Jessica in the library. I had to strike up a conversation and get her address under false pretenses. They're recruiting her next. They said she'll find a cheap apartment in this building soon and start hearing voices too. I'm starting to understand that I'm part of their system now, helping them target vulnerable students like me, broke, somewhat isolated, academically stressed. When I tried to leave the apartment that night, my hand physically froze on the door handle. I couldn't move it. They said I know too much now, that I'm committed to the project. Sometimes I see movement in the corner of my eye, like shadows slipping through tiny cracks in the walls. The voices are getting more numerous too, not just my original 3 anymore, but whispers from what sounds like dozens of people. Some sound ancient, barely human. My neighbor across the hall moved in yesterday, another student. I heard him talking to the walls this morning. Audio log, the 1st of November, 4:33 a.m. I haven't slept in 72 hours. They won't let me. When I start to drift off, they scream until I wake up. I snuck out to the public library yesterday while they thought I was in class and researched the building's history. It was built in 1923 with unusually wide wall cavities, apparently a common feature in buildings of that era used for sound insulation. In 1952, there was a gas leak that somehow trapped toxic air inside the wall spaces. 7 residents were hospitalized with severe neurological damage from carbon monoxide poisoning. 3 never recovered, claiming voices in the walls controlled their actions. The building was abandoned for almost 30 years after that. When renovation workers finally entered in the early 1982nd, they found evidence that people had been living inside the wall cavities, makeshift sleeping areas, food containers, journals with entries about recruiting the worthy. The voices aren't supernatural. They're real people, former students who joined the wall dwellers over decades. They've built a recruitment network disguised as cheap student housing. Tonight they confirmed it all. They were students once too, dating back to the 1952nd. Everyone who lives here eventually joins them in the walls. The ones who cooperate longest keep their sanity longer, but they all end up in there eventually. They want me to help recruit Jessica and 3 others. They want me to stop eating solid food, to drink only the protein shakes they'll have delivered to my door. They're preparing me for the transition. Part of me wants to obey them, the part that's become dependent on their approval and guidance. My resistance weakens hourly. This is a warning to anyone who might find this recording. If you find impossibly cheap campus housing, don't take it. If you hear helpful voices, leave immediately. Don't trust their promises or their threats. They aren't benevolent. They're in every wall now, whispering my name, telling me it's time to join them. I found a hidden panel in my bedroom closet where they want me to enter. The building is hollow, just a shell around their network. My hands are shaking as I record this. They're doing something to affect the air quality, making resistance harder. If someone finds this, I'm sorry I couldn't be stronger. Mom, I love you. Please don't come looking for me. Marcus Thompson was reported missing by his mother on the 15th of November, 2004, after he missed their weekly Sunday call for the 2nd time. Campus security found his apartment locked from the inside, all his belongings intact, but no sign of Marcus. His phone containing these recordings was discovered wedged between the mattress and wall. The building at was condemned for structural irregularities in December 2004. During demolition in January 2006, workers discovered elaborate living spaces within the wall cavities, containing personal belongings from dozens of missing persons dating back to the 1952nd. DNA evidence linked the items to at least 17 unsolved missing persons cases involving college students. Jessica Martinez disappeared before Christmas break after telling her roommate about finding cheap campus housing near Northwestern. Her current whereabouts remain unknown. Similar buildings have been identified in college towns across the Midwest. Federal investigations continue, with authorities remaining tight-lipped about their findings. If you hear voices offering guidance, contact authorities immediately. Do not follow their instructions. The voices aren't trying to help you. They're recruiting you.